received my Kinesis velocity tokens. Finally, we'll talk about that. That's the first thing. I'll explain the process of acquiring those. Second, I'm going to look at some metrics, possible earnings or return from that purchase. So here's my account dashboard, and as you can see, I have some gold, I have some silver, and I now have Kinesis velocity tokens. 3. I purchased 3 at just under $1,900 each, rounded to $5,700. Purchased on February 9th. It took a while to complete this purchase. So here's how it works. First off, if you are outside the United States, the rules are different and more lax than they are if you are inside the United States. Once again, the United States is more oppressive than most countries, more highly regulated, more difficult to do business. Outside the United States, you can buy these on the exchange page, and most of you can do it. In the United States, you need to be an accredited investor. What you do is you submit evidence of that, right? Your income or whatever you have, you submit evidence of that to your account representative at Kinesis. Remember I told you, when you join Kinesis, you'll get assigned an account representative, kind of not really a salesperson, but a liaison, a person that you can work with Kinesis. You would submit this evidence to your account representative. They would run it through their legal department, and then you get flagged. They flip a flag in the database saying, yes, this person is now considered and not acknowledged to be an accredited investor. All right. Again, this is United States only. Once you're an accredited investor, then the next step is, this is where there's some confusion. It took us a while to figure this out, but you still can't buy, if you're a U.S. citizen, U.S. resident, I should say, and even if you're an accredited investor and they flip that flag, you still can't buy KVTs on the exchange, the software. The software is not set up to do the correct filtering and checking and all that stuff. So you basically send a request to your account representative, which is what I did. So I made sure I had enough cash available, US dollars in my case, it could be euros or whatever, and then you send a written request on how many KVTs you want to buy and authorizing them to take the money from your cash balance in your account. Once you do that, it goes to their manual order processing department, and they process it. Then they show up here and everything's good. Now let's talk about the yield that you may be able to earn on a KVT. So remember, the KVT is structured different than the other yields. The other yields, it's the amount of money in the pool is based on the amount of activity on the Kinesis network. Same thing with KVTs, right? The master pool, this comes out of the master pool. But what's different here is there are only 300,000 KVTs. There will never be more than 300,000 KVTs. There will never be less than 300,000 KVTs. There are 300,000 KVTs. So this means that the portion of the master pool that gets paid out to KVT holders may grow or shrink, but the number of KVTs stays the same. So there's the potential here that if the master pool increases, the amount of earnings per KVT could increase, perhaps even dramatically. This is, I paused the video, this is available on Kinesis website here. And so 20% of the master fee pool goes to the KVT holders, all right? And how many do you own? Well, I bought 3. You saw that I just purchased 3, so I own 3 of these. And there are 300,000 in total. So the way you calculate this is, here's the master fee pool for the month or for the year or whatever the time period you're looking at, times 3, which is how many I hold, divided by 300,000. So that's what percent or the allocation of that master fee pool that will come to me as a yield. I put this into a spreadsheet. So here is the historic. So I went back and I grabbed the master pool data for 13 months. This is the data simply available on the actually on the dashboard page. You go on the upper right, there's the master fee pool, and you can click on the months and see the total amount. And what percent of that master fee pool is attributable to the KVT holders? Well, 20%. Okay, so then what's the amount of funds? Again, this is all in US dollars. So it's the amount of the pool available for the KVT holders. Well, here's the amounts. I calculated those. How many KVTs are there? Well, there's always 300,000, never more, never less. The current price for a KVT is $1,900, and that's what I paid. So if you do the math on this, here I did some totals. And the totals, there's $3 million in the master fee pool, $612,000 going to the KVT holders. Divided by that, that's $2 per KVT. Here's the cost of it. The yield, if you had owned this for the last 13 months, your yield expressed as a percentage, annual percentage rate, I did annualize this, even though it's 13 months, I did annualize it, would be 0.11%. That's not a lot, but it's about the same as if I had put that $5,700 in my bank in a savings account. Now, I notice I did calculate an average here. We're going to use this average on the next page when I talk about possible future projections. Just playing with numbers here. There are no guarantees. So here, this column here is the same numbers you saw on the previous slide, right? So those are the average. So the average numbers from last year. Okay. Now, what happens if the traffic on the Kinesis network and the master fee pool quadruples 4 times? Well, still not earning a lot of money here. You'd earn about $8 a year per KVT, 0.4%. That's still nothing to write home about. Well, what if we go 10 times? Well, now you're at 1%. Okay, still not interesting to me. But what if we get a 50x? What if the Kinesis system takes off and the master fee pool starts increasing dramatically? How could that happen? Well, I think the most likely way is with people using the debit cards. If a lot of people start using the debit cards, like I intend to use the debit card, then every transaction, there's a certain amount going into that master fee pool, and the master fee pool will increase, and we're going to see increases in it, I believe. What if it's 100? Well, we're still at 5%. This is not bad, right? So this, by the way, is my, I'm going to highlight this green here. This is my starting point. If we can get to this, I'll be satisfied. That's not, I'm greedy, I want more, but I'll be satisfied if we can get the Kinesis system 50 times more transactions going through it than we have had, then I will earn enough on my KVT, and I'll be satisfied with that. In that 5%, that would be forever, right? So every year or every month, they'll pay it out monthly, but this will be an ongoing thing as long as you hold the KVTs. So it's pretty cool. So that's my goal there, my minimum goal, let's call it. All right, now what if we get 100 times traffic? Well, now you're popping 10% a year, 10 or 11% a year return on your initial investment. Now there's a potential here, and this thing keeps going. Basically, the sky is the limit on how much you can earn off this 1 KVT. Right? So here, if we get 1,000 times the amount of traffic, which we all have to admit is a stretch, but you double your money every year. You get your $1,900 back plus more every single year. That would be a nice source of income for the future. So we don't want to get too greedy and assume these things are going to happen. The reality is it's a long shot. I want to stress that I'm not recommending. We're over here at 0.1%. First off, this is not a channel where I make recommendations or advise people on what to do with their money. But even if I was, I would not be recommending you buy this at 0.1%, right? You are taking a huge chance here. I'm taking a huge chance here that I believe enough in the Kinesis system that I believe it's going to grow. I know what you are thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, when Kinesis gets big, 50 times or 100 times its current size, then I'll buy a KVT. No, the problem is, at that point in time, when Kinesis gets that big, you're not going to be able to buy a Kinesis Velocity token for $1,900. For me, this is a risky investment. It's a balance of, am I willing to lose $5,700? It could turn to zero, or it could become a significant source of income for the future for me. It just depends on how successful the Kinesis platform is and how much it grows and how big these master fee pools can be. Hey, I love you. God loves you. Have a great day.